added to the stage, and here I am. This is what we're all about, right? Is to explore together on this journey. And this background you see here is from the Gaia Oasis beach resort that we are holding the retreat at. Reset and restore your mind and body in Bali. And just such amazing things that we get to do in our lives, right? When we really put our attention on our intention. And this is how I got here. You know, people ask me a lot, why did you choose Bali? You know, how did you know that this was the right place for you? And I really listened to myself. I listened to my own intuition, that guidance that we all have, because it's there for you, right? And I said yes to something at the time that felt kind of bigger than myself, but this is what growth is all about. This is what we're doing here, is to grow and evolve. And growing also means learning new things and unlearning at the same time. So I am just curious if we have any viewers yet. And I want to just invite everybody in and answer some questions. People have been asking questions, and Brian will be here shortly. He was delayed, but that's okay, right? I'm here, and this is what it's all about. So maybe you wonder about going to Bali, about, that sounds nice, but, and usually there are two things that happen. Is either it's the money right away, right? So that is fear of lack, or prioritizing, right? We prioritize things in our lives, and that's completely understandable. Oh, and hello, Karen is here. Hello, Karen. Thank you for being here. She is part of the retreat. So welcome. Thank you for being here. And please put in any questions that you might have. Bonnie also, beautiful Bonnie's here. This is another reason why I said yes about doing this retreat, is that I knew people would show up wanting more and wanting to learn and unlearn things about themselves, learn about the culture, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So I really appreciate you tuning in, whether you're tuning in right now or you're tuning in at a later date. And Islam, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement happening, and it's that curiosity of, wow, I wonder, what I'm going to experience. I wonder what I'm going to see. And keeping that open and curiosity really helps us to be more present, be more aware, so that way we can take in the experience. And Barb is also here, my dear friend Barb. I've known her, oh my goodness, Barb, how long has it been since we've known each other? I think we talked about this when we were in California RVing together. She is bringing her sister Karen. So Barb, put that in the comment. How many years has it been? You're really good about remembering all the things. So again, back to being curious, right? Wanting more, but being a little maybe apprehensive about making this journey, making this trek. And Barb said 34 years. What? No way, Barb. Time flies when you're having fun. And see, this is what it's all about, right? Making meaningful connections with other people that you can keep for a lifetime. And that's also Bonnie. Bonnie is an amazing soul that I've had the pleasure of connecting with through the biodynamic breathwork training. And we've had other adventures together. So very excited for just the diversity of people who are showing up, who is being here to witness. And I don't know who the LinkedIn user is. You'll have to share that, what your name is, but I appreciate you being here and supporting us on this journey to Bali. So let's get down to that. What does the journey entail? So, of course, if you're interested in registering, there's still time. We do have spots available, and you would be going through the main international airport of Bali. And I forgot the abbreviation of that. I can look that up as we're chatting here. So it's the main airport. We have everything actually in a private portal that I have on my website. Once you register for the retreat, then you receive all of that and lots of insights and tips and things on the travel to ease your mind. DPS, thank you, Barb. See, Barb is always on it. I'm telling you, she's got it going on. So Barb, that's the airport code. Yes. Yeah. And so flying into that, and then the Agaya Oasis beach resort, coordinating transportation through them. They'll actually send a car and they'll pick you up. And it's about $50 one way, although you can share the fee with others. So they fit 4 people comfortably with luggage for that. So if you're coming in with a group or a friend, you'll be able to coordinate that. And then that's paid in the rupees there. So you would be in cash. So no worries. There's currency exchanges. It's just having an open mind, as I said before. The more open and curious you are about travel, about the excitement, keeping that with you, then the less nervousness and apprehension, and in your travels will go so much smoother. I did also have a few more questions that somebody had texted me earlier today. Diane, if you're listening, thank you so much for that. And she was wondering about, of course, the airport. And the name of the resort, of course, is the Gaia Oasis Beach Resort there. And she was curious about the distance from the airport to the hotel, which is a fair question. Now, we are going to be on the northern part of Bali, and we're talking remote. This is a holistic resort. It's not the middle of the Bali with the tourists and all the kind of yoga stuff going on. That's amazing and wonderful in itself, and I can't wait to experience that. Although we are set on the northern part, and so that is going to be a 3-hour car ride from the airport to the resort. But no worries. Our chauffeurs are amazing people that take care of us. So if you need to stop along the way to get water or use the restroom, they know exactly where to go. And that is also part of the journey too, isn't it? The journey of just going and exploring and seeing the different little villages along the way as you're going to the resort. And let me see, what was the other question she had? Close attractions and places to stay of interest. So being that we're on the northern part, it is very remote. There are temples around there. It's more villagey. And I love that because that means you're actually immersed in the culture. You're going to see people. You're going to interact with local people and their culture. And I think that is just a treasure in itself, as I've traveled numerous places in my life. And that's very valuable experiences that money can't buy, right? When you have those experiences of interacting with people. So please put questions Bonnie, share your why you signed up. Same with you, Karen and Barb. Uh, LinkedIn user, the mystery guest, let us know. Let's see here. And also asking about refund policy, right? And that's a fair question too. So you have up to 2 weeks before the retreat for a refund, a full refund. And that is something that we'll talk about that. Also, let's see here. Barb has a question. Um, She says for anyone booking additional accommodations, Gaia Oasis has 2 resorts. Pattaya Beach Resort, that's the one we're staying at, and the mountain. So we're going to the beach resort. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you, Barb. And yes, LinkedIn user, you are the mystery guest. So I don't know if that's you, Charlotte. Charlotte's on here. So Charlotte is also our support person during the retreat. She's here to help us just make things go a little bit smoother and to support people. I see Brian is backstage, and I'm going to bring him up. Hello, Brian.
Hello there. Hi, everyone. So thank you so much for being patient with me.
Of course. Oh, and I was just figuring out who the mystery guest was because sometimes LinkedIn doesn't like to play nice with these live calls. And
Mhm.
it just said LinkedIn user, and it is Dr. D'Angelo, who is an amazing person um, that I've gotten to know through LinkedIn. And Charlotte says, yes, she's on LinkedIn. She's now on YouTube. And Bonnie is chiming in. I love that ding. And she says she wants to reset, restore, and meet nice people in Bali. I mean,
Mhm.
how can it get better than that? Really? Yeah, so Brian, I was just answering some questions. Barb and Karen and Bonnie and Charlotte and Dr. D'Angelo are all here, and Islam is here with us, just chiming in and sharing questions and wanting more information here. Yeah, Charlotte's saying hi, Brian.
Aloha.
Yes. So, Brian, could you just describe? I know this is what we're going to be doing is, having these amazing experiences. The experience of getting to the resort, as we just talked about,
Hmm.
and then us setting our intentions for this time together,
Hmm.
and then also having amazing experiences such as the OSHO meditation, the energy experiences and the biodynamic breath work. And for people who aren't familiar with the OSHO meditation, can you just unpack that a little bit for us so that way they are a little familiar with that?
So OSHO meditations are designed to be very active. So it's not commonly done in a seated posture at first, although you do end up there or even laying down as you integrate the active part of the meditation. It's very interesting how it can builds in this um, mind, body, spirit confusion to render that safety and that uh, element of transition. Like someone takes, I think the understood number to be an enlightened being, to be really good at meditation is like 17 years. And so I mean, yes, planting a tree 17 years ago would have been a great idea. I wish I had done that a lot, um, but I haven't. So Osho's meditations, and I think he has something like 2,000, are designed to really create that space that you try so hard to get into with every meditation. Um, but it's just done automatically through movement and sound that is designed to where you can't not do it right. You know what I mean? Like all of our little distractions and our ego and our processes jump in and they throw elbows and they say you got other stuff to do. These meditations are designed so seamlessly and effortlessly to create that space of transition without you even knowing. Just if you just get into it a little, it carries you through. And that's what I love so much about all the Osho meditations. But the one that we're going to be doing specifically, well, we're going to be doing several variations because they're very long. They can be several hours. And I think we're going to do some modified versions that are a little bit more to promote, our rest and restore, and incorporate your mind and your body and that trilogy to that very safe place. I love them. And I know that you've been a part of several of them.
Yes. It is just a totally different experience. And just as you said so perfectly, Brian, it kind of throws you out of, we're so used to rhythmically moving in a certain way or sitting still for meditation. But when we invite a movement with music and focusing on the breath, it takes us to a different space. It really does. And at first it feels a little wonky, and that's good. It's good to feel wonky, to feel what the heck's going on here, although not going down the rabbit hole too much of I'm doing this wrong, and we'll talk more about that too, to set everybody up to have the best experience, during the retreat. But I also believe, it's really about building a better relationship with yourself. This retreat is to come in, have that open mind and just explore what is happening here. Why am I feeling this resistance
Mm-hmm.
to this, just this simple movement? What is that? Because our minds are so powerful, yet our bodies really hold the key to our inner intelligence. I truly believe that.
I agree. Yeah, and it's I remember the first couple Osho meditations that I was involved with. It's not hard. Like that's the main thing that I think was so, I don't know, powerful for me is they are so simple, but they do feel weird. It feels very strange. Um and new and like I mean anybody that's on this call or that has even opened themselves up to these alternative healing modalities, it is very um it's very hard to step in, to fully encompass all of these things. But when you get a chance to really pay attention, it's like after the fact, it unpacks itself. It really is effortless. It's really just showing up and the rest is taken care of.
Ah, perfectly said. Yeah. And also being in that space with other people to witness others as we come together as people. And yeah, Barbara just said, she's coming in to, relax and restore and learn techniques, right? To take back home. Yeah, for the hustle and bustle of life. I love that, Barbara, because Barbara has a very, very demanding job, and she's amazing at it. Although I know, the long term, the wear and tear on the body and the mind that comes in with that. And this is so perfect for people who are wanting to, as Karen so perfectly said, learning to become still. Right? Yes. And also part of our experiences is, as Barbara alluded to, learning tools and techniques, right? To bring back with them. We're going to be doing quick and easy, very easy yet effective techniques such as EFT tapping, tapping on different areas, acupressure points, different rhythmic breathing to really bring us back. And also, some of these might really resonate with you and some of them might not, and that's okay.
Hmm.
It's just part of the experience and part of learning of, oh, this feels good. Oh, this one maybe not so much. But just even trying it, being in that space is perfect. Yeah.
I believe that those both are very valued teachers, right? When it's very comfortable and effortless, and then when it's triggering, but you don't know, or you may think you know why, but it's important to ease into those triggering moments because we're definitely going to dabble in some triggering moments, but not. It's all trauma informed. You and I both practice such a steep trauma informed uh, with everything we do. So moving into that situation, and I know we both subscribe to the awareness of a trauma vortex, right? You want to your story is very important, but it doesn't mean that's your future, right? We want to understand the story, unpack it without going into deep triggering events, and make safe places for us to carry around in any environment. So teaching people and stepping into these really simple techniques, but they're just a little different than you're used to. It's kind of like going to a yoga class where you're like, I've done downward dog 80 million times. But then, an instructor or a teacher, somebody comes over and they adjust you like an inch and a half, and you're like, oh, that's a lot different. I understand now. It's a new thing. Um, a lot of these things can be that way. You feel like I've got to practice this. I'm going through it. But if you just move it just a little, it's a whole different book.
Mm, yes. That is a really good analogy of just that simple adjustment. We know about mindfulness, we know about emotional intelligence, we know about certain, meditations and things of that nature. Although until we are immersed in an inclusive, right, 7 day, 6 night retreat,
Mm-hmm.
that basically less cell phone. I mean, I'm just letting you all know you might not have cell phone reception.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like being unplugged and just being in this beauty and tranquility, which is the background behind us too, is part of Bali as well.
That's the grounds. That's actually because I've stood right where this is taken. Um, and I know, I mean, that's what it looks like, guys. That's not a make-believe picture. I know it looks like it because it's just too good to be true, but that's what it looks like and feels like. The air is sweet. I mean, it's I can't prepare you for the place we're going. That is gonna blow all of you away. And then you feel it when you land, and you kind of start to feel it as you drive over. Um, but wow, once you're there, it just catapults and escalates everything.
hmm yeah. And it's all about just allowing or giving ourselves permission to even, let go,
Hmm.
let go of all those thoughts of having to do things and just focusing inward on ourselves. I mean, the only time I've ever experienced that is with the BBTRS training.
Mm.
Besides like 1 day workshops or, online kind of event things, I had not experienced that until I went through the BBTRS, the biodynamic breathwork and trauma release system training. And that's where I met you in Loveland, Colorado. Yeah. And
Yeah, it's a special container.
it was just a special experience, and the people and the environment. And so we remember that, right? That's in our being, that's in our soul, in our DNA, in our cells. And this experience in Bali will be the same, for those of you who are coming along with us. Yeah, and those of you who are curious too.
Let's
Yeah.
see. The breath work we're going to be practicing is pretty deep breath work, but it doesn't require a lot of experience. Um, and in fact, I think thinking back over our entire curriculum, it's going to be really easily guided through. Nothing's going to be a deep dive. You may feel it when you're in the middle of it, but the reward and the way that we've structured this builds on itself from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday. Like it really does flow perfectly. And I think we even have a couple Easter eggs and surprises built in for people that we probably won't talk about, but just get ready because they'll be there. Nothing real big surprises, but they're very rewarding moments.
For sure. Yeah, this is what also part of the retreat is, that kind of like a I want to say power pause or a peaceful pause, right? We have a 2 hour gap in the middle of the day, and we are offering each and every one of our guests a credit to the spa, because the spa there on the resort offers wonderful massages. Brian, you had some massages there, didn't you?
I think it was a 2 or 3 hour body treatment, and they did. I just yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, they're very talented and they're so diligent and caring at their work. Nobody at any part of my experiences at this specific resort was unhappy to be there. It was a blessing for them to come in. And you feel it. It's in the food, it's in the way they prep. They have tea ready all day at any time, and it's fresh ginger in one big container. And what was the other one? I can't remember. But they're so delicious and so refreshing, and it's always ready. If you're having a birthday, they celebrate birthdays very differently, and you want to make it known. And it's not anything that will embarrass you. It's just very loving. Um, I've and you can relate to this too. I think a lot of journeys, retreats lack integrative awareness. Um, they can be so focused on what's going to happen that incorporating it during or after the retreat can be very difficult. So I like the design of this specific retreat where we have moments to integrate during the retreat. And they're not huge. You're not going to get bored, but you can absorb and move through and then get ready for the next event. And I think that's very important. I think
Mm,
that design means there's going to be a long-term effect. It's sustainable.
yes, and that's our intention too. And you're absolutely right, Brian, about having that integration period, in between, and allowing reflection or journaling, or reading a book or taking a walk along the beach, because the resort is right there
Mhm.
on the beach. And they also offer snorkeling gear, so you can snorkel,
That's right.
go for a walk. And we're also going to, part of our little midday excursions is going to one of the local waterfalls.
Mhm.
So we've set up a tour with them to take us out there to the local waterfall, and have that waterfall experience, and just really be immersed in the beauty of the jungle and the water. And it's really cleansing, right? You've
It
been to the
is.
waterfall, haven't you, Brian?
Yeah, that waterfall's very special, even in the local folklore and traditions. It is said to have this cascading baptism effect, and you carry whatever you want to in your past life, your regrets, your moments of regression where you've like, I'll never do that again. And you end up, whatever. There's always something, but you carry that in, and the mist, the water falling is pretty powerful, but it's the mist that you see these fractals of light and rainbows and orbs, and these things are just all around you. And they believe it to be the spiritual cleansing of the water taking everything away. And I mean, throughout history, water has life. It's living water. Um, and it's a hike. You don't just drive up to a parking lot. It's
You're in Bali.
yeah. In fact, there's very little parking lots, and the cars are very small, and the roads are kind of like paths. Um,
Reminds
so
me of
you,
Japan. Yes.
yeah, and there's just people kind of like in little niches all over. On the walk up, there is the most phenomenal jungle chocolatier and ice cream shop, no joke, in the middle of the jungle.
Ah, we're
Um,
definitely going to participate in that.
they have fresh juices on the way up that they make right in front of you. They have vendors, and it is a path through the jungle where they've just set up little shops that you walk in, and they're all open air. And the villagers are so sweet and so safe. Let's see, when you get up there, there is a temple, and they believe that temples are everywhere, and your opportunity to pray, serve, give gratitude exists every minute of every day. So sometimes you'll pass you just a temple on the side of the road or even in the road, and
Mm,
it's just a little concrete stand, and anybody carries things that they want to gift or sacrifice, and it can be some funny stuff. Usually it's a little money. I've seen a lot of cigarettes shoved in there, not burned, just an offering of tobacco.
sure.
Um, yeah, there's just you carry these things, and when you feel compelled to give, you give. Um, and there's a big, pretty substantial one at the base of this waterfall. For me, it was really fun to just sit at this little temple and reflect and see the things left behind. You know,
Mm,
the temple's been there for a long time, and I say temple, it's very small. You don't walk into it; it's a shrine, and it's an altar, and there's a bicycle up there that's completely molded and green from being around this jungle waterfall, and flags, and I don't know, it's a beautiful place to be submersive and really take the experience on as a life-changing event, even more than what we're going to be doing. Like there's no way people are going to come back the same.
I know.
No
I'm
way.
so looking forward to that. And Barb will answer your question in just a moment about clothes and what to pack and bring. Uh, just going a little bit deeper into the breath work, into some of the experiences that we'll be having with that. It's really about connecting again with ourselves and with other people. So
Mhm.
being in that supportive space in this beautiful holistic center, they have intentionally built this space with in mind uh, for the land. And they do have little shrines, on property. And so we'll do a little tour of those shrines and get a little bit more insight of the history of it. Although when you're in that space and you start to unwind and relax and allow, that's when things things might bubble up to the surface. um, just being aware and witnessing our own, you know I don't want to say we're going to go into traumas, although it is allowing ourselves just to relax and let that go. Just like a big sigh at the end of the day, allowing that energy to go, because we don't have to carry that with us. I
Mm.
truly believe that people will recognize after this retreat when they're starting to carry stuff that isn't theirs. And then by applying the easy breathing techniques or energy techniques, and just remembering, like maybe a phrase somebody might say, or a connection with another guest, working in those little workshops that we're going to be doing and experiences, it's really going to shift your perception of your own body and how you can, you know, go with the flow a little easier when you encounter any stress or
Mhm.
feeling that resistance in the body. It's very important. Um, let's see here. So, Barbara asks, if we want to bring homage, how many people, participants, instructors will be attending? I can give you that number as soon as the registration closes, Barb. Uh, the instructors, it's myself and Brian, and Charlotte is our support person. And then if you want to bring any little trinkets or tokens for the Gaia Oasis staff, like Putu and your driver and things. Yeah, Brian, is it just a little cash donation? Because I don't think that they're not materialistic people. It's I believe it's more of your intention and
Well,
thanking them in
logistically,
a way.
they they don't use American dollars, so you'll want to do some conversion when you get there. Um, and it depends on if you're going to be coming before or staying longer. You might need a little bit more. I think a couple $100 in American would be fine. That's what I did last year. You're allowed to tip at the end when you're leaving the Gaia Oasis, and there will be like a settling up because they have a pretty nice little coffee area with a coffee, like an espresso machine. Then it's behind a little bar that they will make whatever coffee drink you want, which I'm a coffee guy. I love coffee. I think it's probably on the way out for me, but it's really hard for me to let it go. But you can just, and it's all honor system. You're like, yeah, this is me. I'm in this room. I want coffee. And then you add it up at the very end of the stay. And you're allowed to tip. But during, you don't really carry your wallet around. You don't spend extra. It's really nice to be disconnected from those devices. Um, and I will say this: we kind of went past it. In the picture behind April, the beach is on the left, and you can kind of see the seawall running along the bottom of her image, and it's about 3 feet up. And then there's this beautiful grassy courtyard that's flat and level and so nice. I was barefoot the entire time, and I didn't even sleep in my room. There's this on most of the villas, they have this outdoor bed area. And I mean, my room, I had a roommate and they stayed in the room, but I slept outside every night. I never got a bug bite. I never got a mosquito bite. I never got spiders. It was lovely. I slept through rainstorms. It was unreal. And the beach is not just in front of a couple. It's a skinny property and it is all along the beach. The entire property sprawls out on beachfront. So it was designed for like maximum awesomeness, if that's a word.
Oh, yeah, I can already see us there. Um, and Barb, I'm loving your questions. So back to the clothes.
Mhm.
Um, so it might be it's going to be towards the beginning, I think, of the rainy season, that it's going to start. And yeah, it's going to be a little humid. So bring light, self wicking, you know, comfortable, movable clothing.
Mm.
Um, Not going out for dinner clothing. More of the yoga, more of the I'm going out for a hike, or um, if you can wear shorts, wear shorts. A long dress would be great. And I'm glad that we're talking about this, because going to the temple, you are going to need clothing that's going to cover, like from this part all the way down to your ankles.
The
So, especially
waterfall,
for
right?
women, yeah,
The
no,
waterfall.
no, for the temple.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yeah.
so what is it called? Not a, oh, I have it in an email that I sent out to guests about the clothing style to wear, but don't worry, because there's a little cafe that sells things just a 5-minute walk away from the resort, that sells the, is that a sarong? Is it a
It's
sarong?
wrong. Yeah. I
Yes,
bought
thank you,
several when I was
Karen.
on that waterfall hike too.
Thank you, Karen. You did your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear a sarong. Um, bring for that waterfall hike. You don't want to wear just flip flops. You want to wear sandals, durable sandals.
It's
Um,
rocky. It is real rocky. Once you get up to the actual waterfall, it's real rocky and unstable. And you'll want to get in. We'll spend some time there. And there's some
oh
big
yeah,
old boulders that are flat. You can lay on them, and it's warm in the sunlight. And the storms roll through. Um, but it wasn't anything that was, ruined the whole day. And we'll be all of the yeah. There's a little bit of open air buildings, but it's everything. They are really prepared. They have every answer for every issue, at least that we had, and we went through quite a few of them. I mean,
hmm
I've been to this place a couple times. It's nice.
yeah.
I
Barb
would
has
say
another.
less is more
Yes, less is
for
more.
clothes.
And is there laundry facility? Do they do
There
laundry there?
is. They do excellent service. It all comes back
Great,
cleaner than you brought it, and pressed and folded just right. And I think
wonderful.
it's like 2 cents a garment or something. It's ridiculous. So really, you could come here with a backpack. You don't need to bring a lot of stuff. It is warm enough where you're going to wear so most of the people there are European, right? Which means there's very little clothes. Um, but the
Might be a little
spirituality,
shocker for some Americans
oh
on
yeah,
this trip.
absolutely. It's very, very little clothes. However, the respect and the honor and the religious spirituality beliefs they are a little bit more modest. So that marriage of I remember when we were walking to yeah, when we were first prepping to go to the waterfall for the first time, it was like little swimsuits are fine. Tight, I mean, whatever you're comfortable in, but just keep the swimsuit on. And that's Europeans like, well, tops and bottoms are not necessarily needed most of the time. So, but here, yes, leave your swimsuit on, but it's like it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it is a little unstable. We did have some flip flops up there, but it's a little sketchy. It's a good idea to have some sandals. I would agree with a little bit, and it will be muddy on the walk up. So the nice, pretty white Aldo sandals are
leave
not
it at
going to stay
home.
in the bag. Yeah, bring your Chacos or your Tevas.
That's what I
Um,
got.
the water was very clean. I never had any problems with waters. I'm not 100% on vaccines, but I didn't prep for it. And I remember going to my doctor and asking, and there's no
Yeah,
vaccines available. Prep for that.
yeah,
Um,
and there's no required, like, for entering in Bali for
yeah,
vaccinations. So I would say, for anyone who is concerned about that, or just wants to feel, peace of mind, get your vaccines, do what you want to do. But it's not a requirement. Although, um, of course, if anybody's feeling, within 48 hours of their travel time, or even a week, right, of any type of symptoms that you do not want to transfer to other people, obviously we would work something out with a refund for that. Um, so please don't travel ill. Um, we want you there. but we want you at your best. So that way you can have the best experience. So thank you for that question, um, Barb, about
Also,
the vaccinations.
also know that 2 weeks before we leave, at least my magic number for spiritual events, for retreats, is 2 weeks before. Plan for unexpected things. Plan
I like that you're
for,
bringing this up. Yes.
I mean, there's several things that have aligned for you to be in this situation right now. And I mean, I say several, but it's your whole life has brought you to this point. And moving into this shift and this change that will happen at this retreat, there's certain things that don't want to go. And they bubble up, they pop up, they create really convincing arguments sometimes. And it can be sickness, it can be it can be just like, oh, I just don't know if I can. It's there on purpose. It's there to test your resolve. How bad do you want to change? How bad do you want this next chapter of your life? How committed are you? So those 2 weeks, they may bring about, yes, absolutely. They may just be the wind right behind your back, or they might be a headwind.
Mhm.
But it's necessary for some reason. So really think through it. We'll support you on whatever you need and answer questions. Both of us will be available pretty much nonstop with the weeks before. We're getting there early. I recommend everyone does that. The travel can be a little taxing. Um, my last time there, I thought I was a little more bulletproof. Um, and I was sick for an entire day, 2 days into it. But I bounced back and it was wonderful. And it wasn't anything huge. It was just, wow, I feel like I got hit by a truck.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. And I'm
so,
glad you brought that up because that's part of the journey. That's part of the letting go
mm,
of having those sensations or feelings, or whether it's anxiety or overwhelm or feeling aches and pains in the body. Um, it's already shifting because you're aligned with the energy. And they don't call Bali the Isle of Gods for nothing, right?
mm,
You're going to this amazing intentional island that is built, formed, right, in this amazing setting for just that, right? To help relax, receive, restore back to your own natural state. So I highly recommend, before you travel, starting now, everybody here,
mm,
starting now, limit your sugar, actually, no sugar if you can, caffeine, eat more raw, more salads, as much as you can, because there's going to be hardly any carbohydrates, really. The pasta, bread, things like that. I don't think they have in their buffet. It's all local farmed, um, more towards raw, but they also, cater to Westerners. So they know our tastes and our palates. So it's not going to be just eating kale the whole time. Don't worry.
oh no, they do a great job. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. And I have a couple. I even the pictures I took, they look like they've been staged. They're so pretty with the fresh fruit every morning, and there's dragon fruit and pineapple, and everything's just so local and amazing. And it was like that every morning. It's yeah, it
Mhm.
really you're stepping into this dream world. Um, I wish I could explain it more effectively, but you're going to see it, so I don't have to.
Yeah, they're going to experience it. So, uh, if you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out to me or Brian. I'm going to put our links in the description of the recording for this, and also, of course, links to the to register for the Bali retreat. And any other closing words, Brian? Any other questions in the audience?
I will say I think most travel apprehension is going to be around connecting flights and getting there. Um, and it's so easy. It's not even a concern. Like it's all worked out. They know what they're doing. Everyone's in the same kind of like, no, you don't need to make spa reservations in advance. When you get there, you can, but it's all handwritten, like penciled in. It's none of it's computer. Um, but yeah, going through the airport, super easy. Getting a ride over, it's not a quick ride. I would definitely recommend if you get sick on any motion sickness at all, make sure you have medication and you take it before you get in that taxi to come over to the other side of the island because you will have a hard time coming back from that. Travel early, get there at least a couple days early, maybe one, but a couple. You can stay wherever you want. You don't need to stay at Gaia, but it is nice to kind of be there if they have space. There are some neighboring facilities that they do use sometimes when they fill up. Um, but yeah, getting all your movement done in that first couple days and then settling into the air, the water, the vegetation. People walk everywhere. So that's how safe it is. And it's just everybody. Doesn't matter what color or nationality you are, people walk everywhere. Um, I've been to a lot of Central American countries, and sometimes you can walk around there, and sometimes you can't. I didn't witness one place in Indonesia where it wasn't just people walking everywhere. Sizes, ages, colors, it does not matter. Um, yeah, once you make it into the airport, they funnel you right through. You get your visa. It's super easy. And then leaving is easier because you're at home. You've already you got it all down. So all
Mm,
the logistics that happen after that, you really don't need to worry about any of those.
yes, and we'll also share little tips, right, through the emails leading up to it about the plugs, right, the conversion plugs, and also an app. You shared, Brian, about an app about
Yes.
we
Let's see if I can.
re-enter into the US for customs. There's a customs app.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Oh boy.
Also, if you haven't already, I know Barb, you probably have TSA pre-board checking. I highly recommend getting that. And yes, there's always going to be somebody there. Brian, Barbara had a question that she and Karen are going to arrive around the resort at 7:30 p.m. on the 9th. Um, yeah, there'll be somebody always there, right, at the counter.
Oh yeah, I got there at 2 in the morning, and they stayed up for me. The main security guard and his son and his wife were all waiting for me to carry my bags. And it was the
So
most delight. I
amazing.
felt like I was just being ushered into someone's home. And they were so happy that I made it. Oh, we're so glad you made it. It wasn't like, oh, thank God we get to go home and go to bed. It was like they were really
Right.
genuinely concerned, and they were so happy that I was there. And uh there's not a lot of concrete paths, right? So when you're packing and you're like, well, my bag will be fine because it's got wheels on it. It will be in the airport, but not when you get there. Um, so just know that, like, really pack light, travel light,
Less is more.
less is more. They have this really wonderful Balinese bug spray with, I think it's like lavender and citronella, but it's right in the airport. That's the first thing I bought when I landed. I think I used it twice, but I still have it and it smells so good. But
Mm.
everything that you're going to want is going to be available for you.
Yes, yes. I've heard so many people. I was in another chat. They were talking about Bali, and they said, just bring your passport and a
Yeah.
backpack.
Yeah. If you're going to
Yes,
bring
carry on
it,
only, Barb. Carry on only. You got it.
you might
You
want to
got it,
bring some
sister.
stuff home. So understanding that you might want some extra room in some of your bags for the things that come home, that might be something.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't plan on anything else.
Yeah, and Barb also asked, how do we know where to go on the first day of the retreat? It's a small retreat center, so guess
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna be knocking on your door. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure we are gonna make sure that we connect with each and every guest to give them an outline, to give them, to check in to see how you're doing, and we have little gifty things to give you guys as a thank you, of course, for coming all that way to have this amazing experience with us. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
wonderful.
one big meeting area. So there's the training facility is pretty large, and we trained up to I think it was like 41 participants in that room. So it's got a good size. You won't miss it. It's just stunning where it's located. It looks over the grounds and the beach, and it's not far from the restaurant. I say restaurant. The restaurant. We'll say that. It's just where everyone gathers and eats, and there's places inside and outside to sit in that area. So there's a generalized meeting hangout area away from the spa and away from the other end of the property, kind of in the center where we're going to be spending most of our time anyway. Um, and then before classes or before sessions get started, we'll have someone go up and down the beachfront with a chime, and you can hear it. You won't miss it. Um, you would have to actively be trying not to be where we want you to be. You won't miss a thing.
Yeah, and there's only one main area that we will be to. So
Mhm.
it's not that you have to go to different rooms or like a big conference center or something like that. So
None of that.
yeah, it's you get ready to unplug. There's no TVs in the room. I don't think there's any TVs on the resort itself, is there?
There are some computers up where they do the registration for different things, but
Okay.
no, like the restaurant doesn't have a TP or a TP. Oh my goodness, doesn't have a TV. And but there, if you are, you do want to have a way to charge your phone, and so the European adapters are helpful for that. Um, they do have hot water. They don't have a lot of it, but they do have hot water. Um, they have coconuts every day. I mean, for me,
Ah,
that's like getting a fresh coconut every day is my
amazing.
electrolytes, it's my hydration, it's my minerals. Like I leave there better than I came 100%. And that's working through it. That's being, taking care of people and holding space the whole time. And I'm just, yeah, it's healing on so many levels. I yeah.
Yes. And Barb, don't be sorry. I love that you're asking all these questions. Yes, the resort provides towels.
Yep. A lot of towels.
Yeah,
In
a
fact,
lot
when
of
we go on
towels,
the
bottled water, tissues, anything that we need.
yeah, that when we go on the waterfall hike, they'll have towels by the huge bunch for us to grab and take, and a bottle of water.
Ah,
I always travel with my own bottle of water everywhere I go. So, but you don't need to. They have bottles of water. I just don't like using the little plastic ones. Um,
mm.
what else?
Well, we're gonna do another live, so we can talk more um, in a couple weeks about other
Mhm,
things, just to tie up loose ends.
mhm.
So yeah, any other things before we leave here? Any other comments? Please chime in. I know Angela was trying to get on here. She's also another guest, and so sorry, Angela, that you weren't able to chime in. Um,
That's what I like to bring. I like to bring a cup or a thermos, or that's just what I travel with, though.
mhm,
Um,
me too.
now, we are going to have a very professional and experienced videographer and photographer that will be coming around, and we'll need to cross those, like who wants to be in pictures, who doesn't, who's interested in getting them, who doesn't. And we'll have to work that out as we get closer, maybe even when we're there. But I think
Mhm.
it's good for participants to know that there will be someone taking pictures, and you won't have to take all the pictures. You can actually really leave your phone in the
Oh,
room.
yeah, he's incredible. This amazing videographer, photographer. I'm just so grateful. that you connected us with him, Brian. And also, you know, we uh, respect your space. So during breathing and things like that, there won't be any photography going on there. When we're going on these tours or excursions and things, that's when we'll have the more of the video and photos going on. So yeah. Okay, well, we are a little over an hour. Thank you all. Thank you, Karen and Barb and Charlotte, of course. Charlotte's so excited to have you along with us. She's such a sweet soul, and everyone's just going to love Charlotte and the support that she brings. And Bonnie, really looking forward to seeing you again, my friend.
Mm.
And Dr. D'Angelo, if you're still here, thank you so much for tuning in and being with us here, as well as Islam. I appreciate your support. And please share if you know of anyone who would love this type of retreat. People from across the globe, even like, you know, Australasia, right? Australia and Asia, that's really close for them. Please share this with them. You never know, you know, what people would love to experience and be part of. So thank you, friends.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
Brian. Looking forward to this, and we will see you again really soon. And I have a cool video, an outro video. This is my first live stream, so please hang in there and watch this. Thank you.